Cat, you're so cute. And stinky. Anyway. Right. Announcement. This is gonna be probably the last episode we're doing on Harry Potter. Or the last one we did. We recorded this last year in December of 2024. Didn't want to let it go to waste. And also, it's the last one for book 3, so we're neatly closing book 3. I'm probably not gonna continue with book 4. For, well, the same reasons we're not gonna engage with Neil Gaiman's works anymore. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the episode, I guess. See you. Hi! Yet another Harry Potter episode. I'm Nightshayd. This is Cecilia.
Hello.
Bum bum bum. Last part of Prisoner of Azkaban. Finally! No intro question. Too many chapters to go through. Let's go! Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Chapter 18. Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs. A.K.A. Person, and oh! Person! What ingenious chapter. Okay, this one is fine. It's better than the other one, but you have to agree, right, Cecilia?
Sure.
Boring chapter titles. Have you seen the Percy Jackson chapter titles? They are fun.
No, since I haven't read the
fun.
book.
Well, neither have I.
But I also haven't seen the chapter titles.
Yeah, trust me on this. For the original Percy Jackson books series, the chapter titles are fun.
Okay, if you say so.
And they do not spoiler the chapters for you, because JKR sometimes does that, the title spoilers.
I had to remove a toffee from going near to the candle.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yes. Poor toffee, that's a candle. Don't go up to it.
Okay, we are in the Shrieking Shack. We have a Sirius Black there, and a trio with a rat and a Lupin. Sirius Lupin, yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Remus Lupin. There is one adult in this room. Sirius doesn't count, and he is not under as much stress as the others. He's not half mad. He's supposedly even a good teacher, not that I agree. He has known magic. Harry doesn't know magic, but Lupin knows magic. Lupin, dearest? Restrain the damn rat before you do anything else. Put him in an unbreakable magical cage or something.
Yes. Not that I would know where to get that cage from, but yes.
Hermione got an unbreakable jar for Rita Skeeter in year 4. Lupin is a fucking adult. He knows how to conjure up a cage. Magical, unbreakable, for Animagi. I'm sure he does. Me, in Peter's situation, would have escaped by all means necessary. No teenage boy could have helped me. Then again, I wouldn't even be there in the first place. I would have long been gone from Hogwarts. He had already faked his death after all. I suppose maybe the Dementors were preventing him from leaving Hogwarts. But he could have just taken a ride on a run to Hogsmeade and then made his way from there. Leave, Peter, leave. Leave!
And then he could have gone anywhere at all in the world.
Yeah, no, me as Peter, I wouldn't have been there in the first place. But oh well. Lupin, just restrain the damn rat. God damn it. Do it. Interesting note. Hermione's like, yeah, but there are only 7 Animagi registers. I was like, wait, only 7 known Animagi in this century? But then I realized registers. Yes, okay, never mind. There's probably dozens of unregistered Animagi. Animagi? Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna say Animagi. Anyway. I mean, Sirius, James, Peter, and Rita are already 4 more. And this is only Britain. I'd like to imagine outside the author's world building, because she's kinda racist. Am I allowed to say that? Yes, I'm allowed to say that. I like to imagine there are other magical communities that have considerably larger percentages of Animagi, because turning into an animal at will is super cool. And why would you not want that, even if the process of obtaining the ability is complicated?
Agree.
I wanna turn into an animal.
Me too.
So, right at the start there, at one point, the bedroom door opens of its own accord. Hello, Snape. Nice of you to join us. He is listening to Lupin tell his story, biding his time. I'm leaving this here. We're gonna come back to this. Snape enters. Then we get big chunk of Remus lore. Wouldn't I love to know why werewolves are only dangerous to humans, and how that came to be historically and magically within the context of the Harry Potter world. There's lots of different interesting things you could do with it, you know? Like, obviously they're dangerous to humans, because that's how the infliction spreads. Right? That would be the logical explanation, but why? Give me some tragic backstory that led to werewolves being invented. I wanna know. I wanna know. Why are they dangerous to humans and humans only? What happened? How did it happen? Also more on that later, because the world building is a bit wacky there, because when is it not? Actually. Honest question, when is it not wacky and full of holes like Swiss cheese?
Never.
Okay. Also, big-ass plot point, why did Remus never tell Dumbledore? Because he felt guilty about betraying Dumbledore's trust. As if he hasn't been doing that the entire school year. Sheesh. He didn't do it because he was too cowardly. Good man, Lupin, yeah. To your knowledge, there was an insane mass murderer trying to kill the child of one of your closest friends, and you could have helped improve security immensely with the information that you kept secret.
Remus held his tongue and didn't say a single word. He had convinced himself the Sirius was using the dark arts. But why would he have lost Dumbledore's trust by telling him about the animagus thing?
I mean, they betrayed his trust, so by becoming an Magi in the first. That's why.
I mean, Dumbledore would not have been happy that Peter, James, and Sirius became Animagi illegally, certainly. But how much of that was truly Remus's fault? Peter, James, and Sirius made the choice to become Animagi. They weren't forced to it. It was their choice, not Remus's choice. So the only fault I see here is never telling?
Well, yeah, exactly.
But then not telling when Harry clearly is in danger, it's Remus is not indifferent to Harry. He doesn't want Black to kill Harry, but he still doesn't tell because he doesn't want to lose Dumbledore's trust. And in my eyes, that is the very thing that would lose him that trust. Telling would have resulted in Dumbledore being disappointed that Remus never informed him before, but he would, but if he were the good man that Remus believed him to be, then Dumbledore wouldn't have held Remus accountable for his friend's decisions. Not telling and endangering Harry further because of it, that will lose you the trust you so desperately want to cling to. Bottom line, Remus is a coward and didn't think things through.
No arguments here. I completely agree. Last adult, down the drain. No one responsible here. Oh dear. And people wonder why Harry trusts no adults. Also funny how Remus thinks Snape was simply jealous of James's talent on the Quidditch pitch, when I'm fairly sure it was obvious to everyone that the jealousy was about Lily. The hatred stemmed from the bullying that you are aware of being bullying, Remus. And Snape was never interested in Quidditch all that much.
I noticed that too. Teenagers truly will come up with stupid reasons and explanations to delude themselves into thinking they are in the right.
And Snape's still listening, lurking in the background, by the way. Only once we're done with this part of the story. Only then. Just the background filler that's nice to know, but unnecessarily long, because that's several pages of the book. Only now is Snape revealing himself and complicating everything instead of, I don't know, waiting a bit longer to hear the full story. What had he been lurking around for the entire time Remus was telling his long, long story, if he's now going to interrupt when we are finally reaching the relevant bits? Right, real quick. Chapter 19, Servant of Lord Voldemort. Anyway, back to Snape. I mean, thanks for retrieving the invaluable invisibility cloak, by the way. Very nice of you, but Cecilia, darling, dearest, Hufflepuff, human, resident human, I need you as a human, in your capacity as a human.
Well, I'm very much human.
Is this bad writing or perfectly in character and plausible for Snape?
I mean, I really can't blame Snape for, not listening. He is faced with the man who nearly killed him and the man who is to blame for the near murder. If I would have been tormented during my entire school life like Snape had been, and then were put in a position where it looks like I was right all along after having pleaded for an entire year and with the most power in the room as well, it's very likely that I also wouldn't have listened. I would have wanted to drag Black and Lupin to Dumbledore and yell at that old man, on that old fool, that I had been right all along. Human emotions.
I wasn't referring to the part where he makes things unnecessarily hard and refuses to listen and clings to his childhood trauma hatred. More the part where he was standing there, invisible, for many long minutes, listening to Lupin tell his story, during which he was mentioned several times, and then he does not wait until the situation changes, but instead decides to interrupt before we are done or any actions are about to be taken. He's already been patiently biding his time for so many minutes, and now he just suddenly decides to interrupt. Is it in character or bad writing? Tell me, Cecilia.
I don't understand it either. I wouldn't say that's in character. It's OOC.
Yeah, so it's bad writing. Also, goodness, yelling at a student and calling her stupid. Who let this man into the school to teach?
Dumbledore, and he's an old fool. A barmy old man.
Yeah, I don't understand Snape. Why is he acting like this? And why are we supposed to think he was a great man all along? He wasn't. He was as bad of a bully as Harry's father and his friends were. We're also not good people. So many bad people here that we're supposed to think we're nice and good, or maybe we're not supposed to, and I missed something? I don't know,
I don't think we're supposed to think that Snape actually is a nice person, but then he was played by Alan Rickman, and, well...
Yeah, no, it was just like the hero all along reveal, and I'm like... But...
Still doesn't make that man a good person.
He's Neville's greatest fear. That's just... I don't know what to say to that.
Then just don't.
Well, let me dunk on world building instead. Expelliarmus! The spell that can never decide what it's supposed to do, save the day by blasting Snape into a wall. Also, I could have sworn there was a scene where Harry casts a spell, Expelliarmus, actually, I believe, holding multiple wands. And it would have had so many implications for the world building, because what? I could have sworn there was a scene where he was holding multiple wands, and I thought that was in this book. And holding multiple wands made the spell stronger, which was like, wait. But I can't find it anymore.
And I don't know what you're talking about. Did you go crazy?
No, it's just, maybe it was in a different book. But I thought it was in this scene. He was holding multiple wands, and said and used a spell, and then all of them fired at once, and the spell was stronger because he was holding multiple wands, and that's
Show
interesting.
me proof and I will believe you, otherwise I will not.
Maybe I need to look that up. Moving on. Can you believe the sheer coincidence of Fudge, our Minister for Magic, visiting Azkaban with the exact newspaper where the Weasleys and Scabbers just so happened to be depicted on the front page, and then handing said newspaper to a mad mass murderer imprisoned there, and said mass murderer being able to make out the tiny details of the pet rat looking like Peter missing a toe. Wow.
There are no coincidences.
Only plot convenient writing. Okay, so how does a dog and Magus communicate with an intelligent, somewhat magical cat? in the end, it's still a dog and a cat. Body language between different species of animals, especially dogs and cats, differs greatly. And the so-called animal speak makes no sense in any setting, in my opinion, unless you work it out properly, which takes a lot of effort for it to make sense. So how does this work? And do not say magic, Cecilia. I do not accept the answer of magic.
Dinosaurs.
Fine. Dinosaurs it is. Also, I just realized this. I didn't realize... Cutting off your finger to leave behind makes no sense. Not when he exploded the freaking street. That's cutting off your finger, and a finger being the only thing left of you. In which world would that work? That when you blow up, only a finger remains? That was clearly cut off?
I mean, it can't be clearly cut off, and then you can make it work.
But it would be singed. Oh, ouch. No, it's just. No. I don't know. I can't imagine. No.
Continuing on with the nose. No.
I'd also like to know how magical people can identify someone with only a finger left. I mean, muggles have forensics, but what do the wizards do? What kind of spells do they use? Would it be blood magic?
I don't know. I can't tell you.
Okay.
Can I now continue, or do you have more to say?
No, those were my... You can see my notes. Those were my notes.
So, can I move on now?
Do you see me having more notes?
No.
There is your answer.
No, because no one ever noticed. The incarcerated Death Eater is talking.
Incarcerated, I believe. Is it incarcerated?
Incarcerated.
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 I'm looking that up now.
No one ever noticed the incarcerated Death Eaters.
Excuse me, that sounds wrong.
Talking in Azkaban about how Peter has double-crossed them and how badly they would have liked to kill him themselves if they were not
incarcerated. I was correct.
I will not change my pronunciation. Incarcerated.
No! My ears! How dare you!
I just pronounce it how it is written. If the English language is not fine with that, then the English language is
You
wrong.
wrote that word down. You should know how to pronounce it if you write it down. It wasn't even me this time.
It's English. It's not phonetic. It's no one cares how I pronounce it, so I will pronounce it phonetically.
Incarcerated.
And that sounds
hey,
wrong.
It's a C. That's how you pronounce a C. C. Incarcerated.
I do not see.
Uh-huh. So yeah, the Death Eaters are talking about Peter. Because he double-crossed. If Sirius's words are to believe, Peter's status as a spy on what he said was apparently very well known. But Snape should have known in that case, right?
He should have.
Right?
Yes.
Right? Or did Azkaban inmates only figure it out because of Sirius being there? Because he could have told them, like, yeah, it wasn't me, it was Peter all along. And then it would have been, that little coward, kill him, or something.
But why would they believe Sirius in the first place?
Yeah, and also then Sirius wouldn't be saying that Peter was hiding from them in that case.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe Sirius is just taunting Peter. No Death Eater actually knew about it. It's just... From the rest of the books, I'm assuming no one ever knew about Peter, but the way Sirius talks about it here, it sounds contradictory.
I mean, it is.
It's the same like Snape in Book 6 allows Peter to live with him, the man who betrayed the woman he was obsessed with, living in his own home.
Well, I suppose he was forced by Voldy into doing so.
It doesn't look like it.
Well, then this is out of character as well.
Yeah. Next question. A dog's skull is not that much smaller than a human skull. And the skull is the deciding factor whether you are able to get through the bars of your cage. Or prison, I guess. Which is also a cage, I guess. I've got a dog that is middle-sized, as in 30 kilograms middle-sized. His skull isn't any smaller than mine. he wouldn't have been able to get through the bars if I couldn't do it. And I always figured Sirius was of the middle-sized to large variety of a dog, so why would his stuffed dog form allow him to slip through the bars?
Because the author didn't think about it, because later she writes that, large as a bear or something.
Yeah, bear, I got a note somewhere, it's like, bears, yeah, exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
Good, next, kill Peter. Do it. Do it, Harry. Let them kill Peter. He heard Trelawney's prophecy, and I know he's supposedly a good person, and his mind is not stuck on this loony teacher's odd words that sounded weirdly like a prophecy that could have been real. But we don't need Peter alive to prove Sirius's innocence. That's what Veritasium and Pensieves are for. If Dumbledore wanted, Sirius would easily walk free. If Dumbledore wanted, Sirius would have never gone to Azkaban without a proper trial in the first place. Kill him, I say. Kill him. Go on. Do it. Then again, Azkaban is a fate far worse than death.
I have to agree on this. It really isn't mercy at all from Harry's part. Azkaban is the worst choice. Death would be the mercy choice here. There'd probably be one Peter alive for testimony that Sirius isn't innocent. But wouldn't a dead body also be enough to start up a new investigation? Use Veritasium on Sirius. There's a little truth serum out there. Use it. Because with Peter alive, it clearly played out differently than everyone believed that it did. And if you just kill him now, it could be like, see, this is not he clearly wasn't blown to pieces all these years ago, so please start an investigation. Then again, the minister will probably want to cover up their mistake in incarcerating or incarcerating
Thank you.
an innocent man.
Thank you.
I still believe I'm right.
No.
I refuse. I hate English. Why are we making this podcast in English?
Accompany. Wasn't it the one I annoyed you with?
Yes, but I didn't yell at you every time you mispronounced it.
You got annoyed at me every time I mispronounced it.
Yes, I did.
Excuse me, Mike. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry, my dearest Mike. Oh, no. Don't hate me.
You know, I've also been wondering, now that we have 3 out of the 4, apparently some people would call marauders. We don't know if they actually call themselves that. But how often did the other 3, back in the day, made Peter feel less because he didn't have a lot of talent? If they had a really toxic friendship, then I can get behind why Peter jumped at the chance to prove to someone powerful that he is worth something, that he can contribute to the overall team. Or in Wally's case, the overall cause, I suppose.
Good question. I mean, it's implied that that's a lot of his motivation doing all of this.
So I want to know more about the past.
Marauders Generation TV show. Chapter 20. The Dementor's Kiss. Now why would you ever think it's a good idea to chain yourself to someone who can literally turn into a rat? Why not stun him and levitate him next to Snape?
I mean, he can also easily slip out of those cuffs at any point, so there really is no point in all.
It makes no sense. And wait, did I explain the Godfather thing in a previous episode? I did that, right?
Yes,
that it's legally not worth anything, at least in the Muggle world, unless there's a specific thing in the parents' will.
Yes, you did explain that.
So yeah, Sirius, you being his godfather doesn't actually legally mean anything at all. And Harry sure changed his opinion about Sirius fast. You barely know the man, Harry. He's mad enough you wouldn't have believed a word out of his mouth if Remus hadn't shown up. I know the Dursleys are horrible. But this man has spent 12 years in depression prison. He's barely functioning, and you do not know him at all.
I would blame Sirius for not getting suspicious that Harry is jumping at the chance to leave his aunt and uncle's place to live with the godfather he thought a mass murderer until recently and doesn't know anything about. But he just got out of Azkaban, so he is not exactly in a good place, mentally speaking.
Exactly. True. Sirius, we cannot off the hook because 12 years in depression prison.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always been rather reckless and impulsive and not really... Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Where did the invisibility cloak go? Is it... What happened? Is it still in the shack?
Yes. Yes, it is. Because no one took it out. They
Right.
leave it there, where Snape
Okay.
flung it to the floor when he dramatically revealed himself because he apparently got too impatient after all.
Right.
So now everyone is leaving the Shrieking Shack for the tunnel. Prisoners and unconscious people in Tau. Then we are outside and Lupin is finally exposed to the moon.
Ooh.
What?
Awoo.
Yes, but you're not a werewolf.
Awoo.
Help, Nightshade is a werewolf now. I hope you don't bite me. Because I'm a human.
Nom, 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 nom. Come here, let me bite. Come over the table.
Toffee, Toffee, you need to help me.
Well, Toffee is a vampire.
Dang it. I'm not even safe in this room. I need to flee as soon as I get the chance to.
Good. Let's get through the chapter then.
Why did Lupin only transform once he was exposed to direct moonlight? He should have transformed earlier, because otherwise he would not have turned into a werewolf when he was holed up in his office and away from windows. The wolfsbane potion would not be necessary. The whole werewolf thing would not be
more
as much of a problem.
Werewolf lore. Need more werewolf lore. And also better world building.
We will never get that.
I hate how the films changed the werewolf with an elongated snout thing to disfigured, scary, vaguely wolfish monster. I wanted a ferocious, fluffy wolf.
Yes, I want it to be fluffy.
I do, however, love this little detail, the film, where Snape instinctively puts himself protectively in front of the children. Doesn't fit at all with the entire madness that we saw in chapter 19 of this man, but I like it. It doesn't make up for the wolf, though. Films, what were you thinking? Wolf. Maybe that was... No, wasn't it like... Okay, a wolf would have been CGI, so hard to do at the time, I guess. And then they made the entire construct for the werewolf monster that they had, but that didn't work. It was too hard to navigate, so they had to do it CGI after all, which is stupid. You could have just done the actual wolf in that case. But you wouldn't know because you haven't been to the film studios. Now you know.
And I will forget.
Which clever thing, actually, because, I mean, Dementors appear here. The Dementors, they made like a little puppet Dementor thingy and tried different things, and in the end they had it, they used it underwater, basically, to get the flowing of the cloaks, and then they scanned that in 3D, and then they computer animated it. But to get the motion flowing right, they had a little puppet underwater. That's so genius. So cool. It's how they got the cloaks of the Dementors flowing nicely. I like that. It's fascinating how they do this. Okay, so... yeah, this is also where we got the mention of the enormous beer-like dog. So yeah, Sirius is big. Never would have fit through the bars.
The human would actually have been skinnier than the dog in that case.
Yes. Yeah. More about werewolf lore that doesn't really... So, Sirius is being bitten and scratched by Remus here. Wolf Remus. Apparently, a werewolf bite won't do anything when you're in your animagus form. Even after you turn back. The bite just... It shouldn't just disappear, right? Magical animal transformation shouldn't just make your wounds vanish, and the bite has... Venom? Magic? What is it?
How would I know?
It's apparently saliva. It's apparently, according to the internet, in Harry Potter werewolf lore, it's the saliva on the bite. Which is weird in and of itself. So human form werewolf saliva does nothing. Wolf werewolf bite saliva turns a bitten human, but not an animal that was bitten. And an animagus is animagus, whatever. is apparently unaffected as long as the bite happened while they're in animal form, even though the saliva that enter their blood system shouldn't just disappear when they transform back into human shape. And probably if they were in human shape, being bitten, they would turn. What even?
I mean, I have no clue at this point, but it's fun that you get so hung up about it. It's entertaining.
It's world building that I need to know about. How does this work?
And you
Why
will
does
never
it
know
work?
about it, so you will suffer.
Of course. Peter, little rat that he is, uses the werewolf-induced chaos to make his escape, because of course he does. And of course, Harry uses Expelliarmus instead of literally any other spell he might know. Hey, even a tap dancing spell would have worked better than Expelliarmus. He might not know the stunning spell yet, but honestly, burn him or something. I know you know a fire spell, Harry. Explode him, turn him into ice. Surely there's some spell that he knows that's better than the disarming charm.
But Harry is not creative enough.
Yeah, and well, he didn't have his training montage from book 4 yet, and even after that, all he knows to use is Expelliarmus. Always and forever. I wonder what role the Weld plays in the Animagus transformation. I mean, everyone else other than Peter doesn't need it. It's not like you cast a spell on yourself. I don't know. Why? It's implied because Peter's not as good as the others, but still, what is the role of the wand in there? And not needing it if you're good at it also has so many implications on the world. I'm despairing over here. I'm in despair.
I will not help you get out of there because I can't, because I don't know the answers.
I'm gonna join Junko Enoshima's crowd now, if you excuse me. Anyway, yeah, no functional magic. Where does magic come from? How are spells powered? Why does Loomis go on indefinitely until you cancel it? Why are some spells harder than others? Are words and wands really just for focus? And if so, why wasn't that actually explored or at the very least mentioned? Etc. Etc.
So that fanfiction can do it better. That's why.
I mean, on that note, Snape is still floating. I think Lupin cast the spell, so that spell also has to be cancelled. How is that powered? Snape is just floating along peacefully.
By dinosaurs.
He's just floating. I find it also odd that Werewolf Lupin would just disappear from the scene. He's just gone from the scene now.
Let me flee away from the castle full of humans that I could bite.
Yeah, it's apparently, I would have thought that dangerous to humans is like an instinct that makes them specifically seek out humans. But apparently it only applies when they find themselves near humans. It would make more sense if the werewolves were specifically designed to hunt humans so they can during the full moon, so they can turn more humans, because it's like a curse that needs to be spread or something. But we have no proper background for werewolf origins. We will never know. Either way, leaving people behind left and right, especially unconscious ones, when there's a werewolf about is a bad idea, Harry. Even if you're worried about your godfather that if you've barely known for a few hours, don't leave people behind when there's a werewolf on the loose.
But Harry doesn't care about Snape.
Ron is also lying there.
Apparently Harry also doesn't care about Ron.
Werewolf Lupin could have easily just come back and bitten Ron and eaten Ron.
Num num num.
It's what I would have done.
It's not what I would have done.
Would you have had a choice as a werewolf?
I don't know. We don't have enough werewolf lore to know that.
I mean, the entire thing is like Lupin is a good person and doesn't want to bite people, but he knows he's dangerous and he will bite people as a werewolf because he doesn't have a choice.
Well, Lupin still ran away and didn't come back for Ron. So why would I have come back for Ron?
Yep. We end up with Harry, Hermione, and Sirius surrounded by Dementors, while Snape and Ron are just getting eaten, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Not looking good. And, well, Harry, I'm sorry, but Hermione never cast that spell before. She can't do it. And you're not thinking happy thoughts either, so you want to talk. More importantly, how did Dementors come to be? Why are they humanoid in appearance? What is their origin story? Did Herbo the Fool invent them? Can I do that?
I mean, I don't know if he invented them, but you would certainly invent them if you were reborn as him.
Yeah, I mean, if they already exist by the time I'm reborn into Herbo, I could reverse construct them. Reverse engineering, yes! Dementor army on top of the zombie apocalypse, neat. No one would ever be happy again. Ah, lovely, lovely, love. Chapter 21, Hermione's secret. Look, there's more blue notes. When are you gonna talk? Are you gonna talk? It's all blue now. Help! Cecilia! Well, I guess you're just here to look pretty now. That's the new thing. Cecilia's just here to look pretty. Occasionally help me with human emotions. Hospital ring, right. Harry wakes up just in time to overhear Snape and the minister talking. I find it funny that Snape would be like, personally, I treat him like any other student. That's, yep. Definitely what you're doing. Yep, liar. Madame Pomfrey enters with a boulder of chocolate. She has to break apart with a small hammer. I hope that's good quality chocolate. Surely the quality also impacts the effectiveness, right? Nom 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 chocolate. Good quality chocolate. This is not important. Let me skip this note. Then Dumbledore enters the scene, telling Harry and Hermione it's too late to help Sirius know. He also mentions that he gave evidence to the Ministry that Sirius was the secret keeper. And I'm like, what evidence? Because we know Sirius wasn't. So what evidence did Dumbledore hand in? How? Why?
A memory of how they agreed on Sirius as the secret keeper?
Yeah, you didn't think asking for a trial would be the right thing to do? Good man Dumbledore. Who?
Never heard of him.
What I do like about the scene is Dumbledore's essentially powerless here. And all his arguments about why it is too late are also very valid. Two seemingly delusional children, a werewolf, a mad escaped convict, and the proof nowhere to be found? And Dumbledore isn't all powerful. Wouldn't it have been fun for things to end like this? Mostly innocent Sirius kissed by Dementors for a crime he never committed? Book 3 over, no justice served. Would have been a nice narrative and an interesting memory to stay with Harry for the rest of the books. But, alas, we're still in a children's fantasy story and can't have sad endings. But wait. Next book, Cedric died. Voldy returned. Book 5 also ends on a bitter note. Sirius dead now. Voldy on the loose still. Prophecy, shit, whatever. Book 6 ends on a bitter note. Dumbledore dead. Book 3 is apparently not old enough yet, but book 4 onwards is fair game. Aww. What could have been? What could have been?
What could have been?
Someone write fanfic about... Well, that's probably fair. There's always fanfic about everything.
Precisely.
There's even fanfic about Umbridge and Filch.
I did not need to know that.
You did need to know that.
No, I did not.
There's Gilderoy Lockhart specific fanfic. You know? Stuff. It's out there. Anything you can imagine. You just need to figure out how to find it.
I do not wish to find it.
Instead, we get time travel. I cannot deny that the time turner plotline is really cool. And it works because it's a closed loop. I'm looking at Cursed Child judgingly. It's a closed loop. Closed loop. And especially since we caught glimpses of Hermione using it throughout the year and the way Dumbledore gives them the necessary hints, time, place, and so on. Very well executed. Except for the Patronus stuff. Very well done.
It is really well done. I loved all the little hints we get about Hermione using it throughout the book. And the closed loop paired with the do not, under any circumstances, interact with your past self rule works perfectly. No past events are changed by the time travel. No paradoxes appear. But why are they in the entrance hall when they used the time turner in the hospital wing? I thought that thing could only travel through time and not space as well.
Yes, that. The films left them in the hospital wing, but the book clearly says entrance hall for some reason.
Weird.
Very, very weird. One big minus point to the time turner plotline. It is insanely irresponsible to give a 13-year-old student a time turner so she can attend more lessons than her schedule permits. Merlin, that's such a bad idea on so many accounts. First and foremost, it's bad for Hermione's physical and mental health, and the risks, and just in general. Ugh. The responsible thing to do would have been to sit down with her and talk her through the electives and what choices would make sense. Because why are you attending Muggle studies, Hermione? And why attending all of them is a bad idea. Not to give a kid a device that can literally alter time. And Hermione wasn't even the first to get handed one. Percy and Bill probably got one too, because they got like 12 hours, implying they took all electives. And I think Barty as well, Crouch Jr. Just shows you how incredibly responsible everyone in the magical world is. They're all insane. They are all insane. Cecilia agrees, I'm assuming.
Yes, Cecilia has been nodding.
Yeah. Sometimes I need verbal confirmation.
Do you?
Just sometimes. So you also open your mouth, so it doesn't get stuck.
I think it already got stuck.
Whoops! I just have too much to say, I guess. Time to save people. Hippogriff first. Timing, very important here. Also, Marion, Harry, you got magic. He doesn't know cutting spells. Or fire. He definitely should know fire spells. Why does he never use magic for anything? You can free the hippogriff with magic. You don't need to tug on that damn knot, Harry. For a book about magic, there's no magic in it.
I mean...
No magic.
Harry knows no magic. Like, he's a protagonist who goes to school but he learns magic, but he just never uses magic, so... Harry knows no magic.
Why?
He never goes to school. He doesn't pay attention. He never passed his exams.
Let me bite him. I already got the vampire teeth for it. Bite him? Turn him undead? Maybe suck his blood? I don't know, does blood taste good? Usually I just crunch on the bones. Never mind. Anyway, undead Harry and then control him and then he can actually use the freaking magic he learned, you know? Something else. During the entire chapter, Hermione insists we cannot be seen. And okay, I know she means by their past selves, because of course, but she also insists like no one is allowed to see us running on the grounds or just see us in general. And I'm like, Hermione, you were attending multiple classes at the same time during the year. I'm sure there's no way no one saw you not attending the class. What is going on, Hermione? You've been seen. Also, Hermione's now an entire year older than the rest.
Not an entire year, because I don't think
Also, when did Hermione get her period? How did she handle that? How does magic handle that?
I don't know. She's also not an entire year older, because that would imply she did really everything on the double, even sleeping and eating times as well. And we know she was famished for the eating time, so no, she did not attend meals twice.
I think J.K.R. said something along those lines that Hermione's... I mean, it's possible that maybe she didn't redo one day, but maybe she redid several hours multiple times, which would amount to a day.
Why would she?
If she has 3 classes at the same time.
Why would she?
Why would she not?
Because there are not that many electives.
Maybe she was actually clever enough to do to like give herself break time by turning the time turner back and going to sleep and eating.
You underestimate Hermione.
No, I think I remember J.K.R. being like, yeah, she's now an entire year older, so mop. Good thing it's June, otherwise sitting there at night for an entire hour could be kind of cold, because we know no warming magic. They don't know that.
Well...
And then they have to run from Lupin, and then they are in the hut, and then Harry goes out alone when there's a werewolf and Dementors.
Yes, that is a very good idea.
Very safe. And then the Patronus. And that one makes no sense. To me. But I thought the Patronus was fueled by strong, happy emotions. How was it possible Harry could cast a corporal Patronus here? It's like the Quidditch one. Head empty, no happiness needed. Why? How? That's not how it's supposed to work. You can't just contradict your own world building.
I mean, I know it's not supposed to work like that, so I didn't even wonder about that, because I know that it just won't make sense. I was wondering why Harry's Patronus was a stag in the first place.
Good question.
I mean, yes, it was his dad's animagus form, but Harry didn't know that at the time he produced his first corporal Patronus. He only made the connection once the Patronus had chased away the Dementors. I don't know how the spell decides what your protector is. We only know that your Patronus can change over time. Harry, right before he cast his first corporal Patronus, was thinking of his dad. He thought that his dad would show up and save him, Hermione, and Sirius from all these Dementors. He was thinking that his dad would show up to protect them. And that moment, his dad was his protector, at least in his mind. So I assume that the spell translated the thought of James Potter is my protector into the form of a stag, since that was James Potter's animagus form. And after that, his Patronus just doesn't change because Harry probably likes this connection to his dad and the thought that his Patronus represents his father. Does that mean if anyone were to think of you as a protector, they would get a pine marten and a magi? And when I would be the protector, they would get a beaver?
Me protecting Cecilia?
I mean, theoretically, if Toffee could hold a wand and speak the words, maybe Toffee would think of you as a protector. Because cats, of course you protect cats.
Okay, that's fine. I can accept that. Okay. Sheesh. No, I would rather kill you than protect you. No, not you, the general you. You mean what? You know what I mean, right?
Yes, I do.
It's a bit weird in English. It's like, am I talking to you or am I talking to you?
I think you're talking to me and you want me dead.
Do I?
Well, then you wouldn't have someone to feed Toffee in the morning, so you can't do that. Sorry. It would only inconvenience you.
So, apparently Harry's personality is close enough to his father's, which doubt, that they're both stags. Then again, falling in love also influences your Patronus for some reason, even though it shouldn't have an impact on your personality, because otherwise, why would you want to fall in love if it changes your personality? That's scary. So your Patronus is clearly not as much influenced by your personality?
I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe
whatever.
Maybe James's Patronus was a stag to begin with. I mean, I don't know when he was able to cast it, if ever. But maybe he just was thinking, okay, or maybe the Patronus turned into the stag.
No,
because he was protecting his friends, and
for James, I can see it because his animagus form is a stag, and his Patronus was probably a stag, and Lily's would have been a doe then. Not that we ever have confirmation, but it's probably the case. But for Harry, it just doesn't make sense.
But he thought of his dad as a protector in that moment.
Yeah, but it was already a stag before that and after, and it's just.
How do you know it was a stag before that? It never had a corporeal form.
It did, on the Quidditch pitch.
It did.
It was like he vaguely recognized like 4 hoofs and stuff.
I
think 4-legged creature.
About that already. Weird.
But Snape's Patronus is a doe.
I mean, maybe Harry's was a horse before.
He thinks it's a horse originally when he first sees it. It's just there for the human emotions, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, we have Buckbeak, the Hippogriff, and we fly up to Flitwick's office to save Sirius. Yes?
Yes.
Now, I cannot picture the mechanics of a big-ass hippogriff with large wings flapping up and down, up and down. This hippogriff is flying next to a window in, I don't know if it's facing the window, sideways, backwards. It's somehow doing it in a way that allows Harry, who's sitting in the front, to knock on the window and Sirius to climb on in the back without the wings being in the way. I can't visualize it. How does it work?
It just doesn't, because it implies they are flying sideways, but then the wings would be in the way.
Definitely, yes. Up and down, flap, flap, flap. Chapter 22, Owl Post. Again. Time to wrap up loose ends. Exams over. Remus resigned. Thank you, Remus, for being unreasonably reasonable. I meant unusually reasonable. No adult is ever reasonable in these books. He's leaving because he seriously endangered the students the previous night. That's not his reason for leaving, but never mind. Yeah, he is unreasonable leaving because wrong reason. Also, he remembered the cloak. No one else did. Look at that.
Harry once again forgot about his precious family heirloom. Well,
yeah, no, really. Remus should be leaving because he endangered the students, not because Snape accidentally spilled the beans.
Yeah.
Accidentally spilled the beans.
Not sure accidentally spilled the beans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dumbledore was also present at the scene, you know.
Of course he is.
And you know, Dumbledore's comment about Harry and Hermione not being able to be in two places at once made me think of Naruto and the fanfiction where Kakashi ends up in Hogwarts doing Harry's third year. And Kakashi uses, jutsus to be in two places at once to catch up so that he can blend in better.
Bunshin doppelgangers. Yeah. It's too bad it's on hiatus. It's such a good story. I liked it.
Yes.
So much.
You liked it or you like it?
Both.
Both. Okay. The time may come when you will be very glad you saved Pettigrew's life. Sure, Dumbledore, but I don't think that ever came to pass. Or did it?
It did.
Did?
It does.
Eh?
Book 7. When Harry and Co land themselves in the Malfoy Manor basement dungeon thingy with, who's there, Luna or Lavender?
Yes.
And they get, I don't know what the films did with it, but in the book they get out and they come across Peter on the stairs leading up to the ground floor. And Peter hesitates. Just long enough that the hand that Wally gave him reacts and kills him. Was supposedly a very big impactful moment, but it was implied that the hesitation, yada yada, and was the life debt that he had to Harry, and don't ask me. Emotions.
What I remember from the films is, okay, they're in the basement, Dobby somehow gets in, and then Dobby wants to teleport them all away, or apparate them all away, and someone threw a knife at them, and that's why Dobby died.
Yeah, but that's two different places. And
Really?
We're in the basement, and when the knife throwing happens upstairs on the ground floor. And they meet Peter in between in the book.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, wait, I have book 7 right next to me. I could find the scene. Do we have the time for that?
I don't know. Do we have the time for that? You tell me. I think we have the time for that.
Let me see. Pages rustling.
Yes.
Oh gosh, that's a lot of 36 freaking chapters. Holy moly.
ASMR. Pages
Malfoy
turning.
Manor, 363. 363. That's 363. Okay. They're in the freaking manor. So boyfriend, the Scarseid, yada 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 yada. We'll never get to book 7. You know? They're in the basement. Hermione's screaming. Okay, not creature. Dobby comes. He takes Luna and Dean and Ollivander. Yeah, because Dean Thomas is also there.
Huh.
Away. And upstairs they hear that there was a noise in the cellar. Ah, it's the cellar, okay. And then they send Wormtail down. And then Wormtail's like, stand back from the door, I'm coming in. Okay. What is... Ah, yes. Then Harry and Ron launch themselves at Wormtail. And they muffle his voice. And then Ron pretends to be, yeah, no, nothing, all's fine. A passable imitation of Wormtail's wheezy voice. Okay. Okay, and then... You're going to kill me, Harry choked, attempting to prise the metal off the attempting to prise off the metal fingers. Yeah, because Romy is choking him, I think, or something. Here, yeah, his silver hand closed around Harry's throat. Okay, so Wormtail has his silver hand that he got from Baldy around Harry's throat, and then Harry could barely breathe. You're going to kill me, Harry choked, attempting to prise off the metal fingers. After I saved your life, you owe me, Wormtail. The silver fingers slackened. Harry had not expected it. He wrenched himself free, astonished, keeping his hand over Wormtail's mouth. He saw the rat-like man's small, watery eyes widen with fear and surprise. He seemed just as shocked as Harry at what his hand had done, at the tiny, merciful impulse it had betrayed, and he continued to struggle more powerfully, as though to undo that moment of weakness. Then I get his wand. And then, wandless, helpless, Peter's pupils dilated in terror. His eyes had slid from Harry's face to something else. His own silver fingers were now moving inexplorably towards his own throat. And then he dies. In a scene describing him to die. Yeah, he dies. There you go.
I still don't know how they portrayed it in the films.
Well, I can't tell you that. I don't have the film right next to me now, do I?
But my memory is more like films. It's like
I'm sorry, but there's the book scene that you only read once, so I kindly read it for you.
Thank you. I will read it again in... I don't know how long it will take us to get there.
So yeah, that's the moment they get... It's like Harry saves his life, and return, Peter dies.
Peter dies.
Basically. Yeah, I saved your life, so you can now die.
I saved your life. Please die now. Thank you.
Now, to be fair, it was Waldy's hand that killed Peter, right?
Yeah, true.
If he didn't have the silver hand, he wouldn't have died on that moment.
Harry didn't do the deed himself.
Yeah, but it was an interesting... Well, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, Harry didn't do the deed himself, but you know what he did do? He tells...
Threaten his relatives.
Yes, he tells the Dursling, well, my godfather is a convicted murderer who broke out of prison. He is also on the run and likes to keep in touch with me to make sure I am happy. Now that is a good threat.
Yeah. Threaten the Durslings. It's the new name now, Durslings.
Threaten the Durslings.
The Durslings. They're Durslings. Little itty bitty Durslings.
Oh, yes.
Dudley Dursley who? No, it's Dudley Dursling. Ling ling ling.
Ling ling.
Right.
Right.
We're on Extra to Spotify and YouTube at Tea and Toffees. I play games live on weekends. This year is somehow there. Occasionally, often, somehow, in one capacity or another, at Nightshade. Also post random art on Instagram at Nightshade. I still haven't finished that picture because we recorded this episode right after the previous Harry Potter episode. But by the time this one comes up, I probably will have finished the picture I was working on.
Probably. And if you enjoyed the comment, if you enjoyed...
If you enjoyed the commentary.
If you enjoyed our commentary on, Harry Potter book 3, because now we are done with that book.
Finally.
Then leave us a comment on this episode about something? Werewolves?
Werewolf lore headcanons. What werewolf lore headcanons do we have? I want werewolf lore headcanons. Thank you.
Okay. Werewolf lore headcanons.
Until next time, whatever that may be, I have no idea. Bye.
Bye.